Hey, we're back. It's been a minute. It's been like, I guess, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Probably should do this like once a month where you see myself and this handsome guy, or this guy this way.
Yeah, right over there. There you go.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right. Mr. James
Handsome-ish.
Oliver. I just thought of something. We should call ourselves Two Dads Talking BS.
That's just
Because
I feel like the old man in the balcony from the Muppets, Stanley Waldorf. You want to couch it that way, but I rocks with those guys, so that's fine
me
with me.
too. Me too. Every episode, they are spot on. Who's Kermit? What the fuck? Why is he there?
Stanley Waldorf. I mean, that's kind of us, I think.
Man, I'm stuck watching Sesame Street. Your kids are past the Sesame Street stage, but I'm stuck watching Sesame Street for the next 5 years probably. And they are low key shady. Like, like Elmo be coming for people. Like,
Hilarious.
whoa. These writers, man, what are they on in these writers' rooms?
Hilarious. We got any people listening, watching us yet? If you guys are out there and you're watching, drop a comment. Let us know where you're coming in from. That would be good to see where folks are coming in from.
Yes, definitely. Now, you had an excellent podcast last week, episode. And ironically, I didn't see the title. I know I have it in my queue on what's the name to listen to, iTunes and Spotify. But ironically, one of my co-founders came up with the same title for our room that we do on Black LinkedIn on Clubhouse, and it was how to ask for help. And I think that her pain point was that people roll in her inbox all the time, and they don't know how to necessarily ask for help. But with your episode, what was the inspiration for your episode last week to talk about how to ask for help?
Yeah, so you're talking about the Parents Making Profits podcast. I'm co-host of that, and it's on the HubSpot Podcast Network. And the title was How to Properly Ask for an Introduction. And the reason we talked about that is because, for Black founders, because I'm also the founder and CEO of the Parentpreneur Foundation, which empowers Black parentpreneurs so they can leave a legacy for their beautiful Black children. And I've been doing this work for 2 years now, and I'm also an entrepreneur myself. I have a new tech startup, and we have some incredible news coming down the pike about that shortly. But with the foundation work, we've been trying to help our foundation members get to resources and get to the bag and get to investments. And everybody tends to focus on the money piece of it, but we don't focus enough on the social capital piece of it. And I'm always talking about this. I feel like we talk about this every time I talk with you, Martin. Social capital, or the dearth of it for Black founders, is as problematic. And I think maybe in some cases more, because like I always say, and I'm gonna keep saying, Albert Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. And I'll say it again, like, how can we as Black parentpreneurs or Black entrepreneurs leave a legacy for our beautiful Black children if we can't even imagine what's possible? So when I engage with people who are amazing and they ask me, all right, James, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, look, why don't you tell me what's possible? Because I am not going to impose my limited visibility on your vastly unlimited perspective. Why would I do that? It's like negotiating against yourself.
It's a trick. It's a trick question.
I'm not going to negotiate against myself. Tell me what's possible, please, and thank you. And I will sit and lean in. So, but to finish answering your question, it's because Black founders, entrepreneurs in general, we need to improve our social capital, because if you can beef up your social capital, you have an easier time actually getting to the bag and getting to those partnerships and getting to the connections that you need to grow your business and getting the help you need. So, it's a 30-minute episode. Our episodes are typically around 30 minutes. And we talked about how to ask for an introduction, the proper way to do that, how to send a forwardable email, why that matters, and how to do it. And then how to move on LinkedIn, because I see so many people just like clowning themselves, or is it big clowning? And look, I'm not judging anybody because a lot of these things I've just learned in the last couple of years because of my affiliation with some real incredible people who have been helping me with the Parentpreneur Foundation. So,
well, that's what's up. I think that one of the toughest things to do, in parenting and also in business, is to be, I think, vulnerable with perfect strangers. You experienced, unfortunately, birth trauma and having your children in NICU.
You too.
Yes. And what people don't tell you about the NICU is that I guess it's like every 12 hours is a new fucking doctor. So like you eventually, maybe in 2 weeks, you get to see the same crew, but you're having to renegotiate how the language you use to make sure your children get the best care possible. And at the same time, be vulnerable and say, I have no idea what you just said. Can you explain that in layman's terms? And it's that way somewhat in business. I think that's one of our strengths will be if we develop this right, but the community you're building and the community that I'm building, our intention is to create this great community that thrives, that the community members actually have the tools they need. But to get there, people have to say, I don't know what I'm effing doing.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We talked about that. Oh, actually, we haven't dropped that episode yet. I'm waiting for Mario to upload it to Megaphone, and we're gonna publish this today. But we talked about this, and so we have a new episode. Oh, this is great. We did a 2-part series called "Launch the Damn Thing Already." And we just went down these lists of all excuses people make about why they can't start their business, they can't launch the product, they can't launch the service, or whatever, or just all the excuses. Like we all do it, right? But we talked about, Mario was talking about how the real people, the real ones, will admit to you they have no freaking idea what they're doing. Just making it up as they go along. And that resonates with me so much because I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I started the foundation in the middle of COVID. I don't have any experience with that. I mean, I got a new startup launching. My vision is to impact, millions of tech startup founders around the world looking for a co-founder.
Wait, James, you didn't go to college to become a philanthropist? You didn't take the, what's it called? The Foundation Center's workshop on how to start up a nonprofit in an urban community, targeting specifically Black parents who are in need.
No, what is that a thing that's out there somewhere? Because if it's not, maybe we should start it. I don't know. No, I know, but look, man. Here's the thing. Like, I feel like, obviously there's some exceptions, but most people don't really want to do the work, and most people just want to kind of show up and just get stuff. And unfortunately, that's just not the way it goes. And so like I'm always sharing what I know about how I've gotten from point A to point B and the community. I mean, you remember our community. Hell, you just got another grant from us, I'm not mistaken, for Father's Day, which was amazing because this time we let the community vote for who they thought should get a grant. So it was really remarkable to see. I mean, for you, that's got to make you feel good to feel like, people in the community, most of whom you don't know.
Right.
You don't know 2,000 people in the community.
Right. Most of the community I don't know. I do. I dislike to be able to say, things I dislike the concept of what do you call it? Popularity contest. So I definitely did not try to campaign, we'll say. The first day, I think I started like the second day, just sitting out saying, hey, you know what? Appreciate you. I am up for this grant over here.
So but those were people that who you invited to the community.
Right.
You weren't just spamming people. You were like, hey, I invited you here. Check this out. I need your vote.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. But the fact that the criteria were like vote for somebody who's inspired you, who you're inspired by based on how they show up in this community, or you're inspired by what they're working on. And it was you and 5 other people. We had, man, I don't know, maybe almost 200 votes or something like that. It was great. It was really, really great.
Yeah, so 10%. That was 10% throughput.
Yeah. So, but let's circle back and just kind of dig into, on the podcast episode, how the proper way to ask for an introduction, because we want to make sure. Is anybody watching this thing? We got some folks watching this thing.
Yep, we have 5 people. We go back to LinkedIn, getting texted.
All right. So if you guys are watching, just drop a comment and let us know where you're coming in from. So there was 3 things. So the proper way to ask for an introduction, and I see a lot of people doing it the wrong way, and it makes me cringe because you don't get the results you want. And most people will be like, so I'm like, hey, Martin, I see you're connected. So no, actually, it's
no, that's what they do. That's what they do. Say, I see you connected to so and so.
Well, but what I'm going to share with you now is actually worse than that.
Oh,
I know you, and I have a friend that I think you should meet or should meet you. So then I will go and send an email. Hey, Jim, meet Martin. I want you to meet Martin. Martin, you need to meet Jim. I haven't called you. I didn't ask you if you wanted to talk to Jim. If you had time to talk to Jim, right? I mean, that's how people move. That's what you call a single opt-in connection. Now, mind you, Jim is super pumped to connect with Martin because he's like, oh, Martin's a boss. Yeah, I want to talk to Martin. Like, introduce me to Martin, right? Martin. Right? So you get the introduction to Martin, and Martin's like, what the heck?
Exactly.
Like, why do I want to talk to this person? And you're forcing me to take time out of my already busy schedule. He got a baby girl, he got his business, busier than a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest. Now he got to go Googling who this person is and why he needs to talk to them. And then after he does that, he's like, I don't want to talk to this fool
ever again.
But now I put him on the spot, and it's uncomfortable for him. And a lot of times what will happen is Martin will not respond to the email, because the other guy's like,
oh, no. Hey, James, I got a new one. I have a picture of my baby girl. She's in the car seat watching Encanto, and I'm like, sorry, I'm traveling. I have a summer traveling with my baby, and that's my standard. So I'll respond and say, sorry, I'm traveling.
Yeah, no, that's it. Like, exactly. So what that effectively does is the person who made the introduction, it makes them look bad.
Yeah.
So it makes you look bad, and thereby diminishing your social capital. So don't do that. So instead of doing that, do this. Hey, Martin, Joe over here is interested in meeting with you. Here's some information about him. Are you game to talk to Joe? Martin's like, well, nah. Oh, well, yeah. So, but if you get a yes, then you make the email introduction. So The better way to do this is for Joe to send me an email I can then forward to Martin. That's a forwardable email. So we talked about this in the podcast episode. If you go to parentsmakingprofits.com and look at our last episode, I think it was episode 13, in the show notes, there's a link to an article about how to do forwardable emails. And it works. And I know it works because I actually just did it 2 days ago. There's a person who's an emerging venture capitalist investing in overlooked founders, wanting to connect with some other boss VCs who move, because it's like real bad boys move in silence. You ever heard that expression?
Yes. Real gangsters.
Huh?
I said real gangsters.
And so one of my favorite scenes in the movie American Gangster, speaking of gangsters, is when Denzel or Frank White told his cousin he was mad at him because he was all dressed up with the sharkskin suit and the hat and all that.
Yes.
And he's like, what are you doing? You look like a clown. He said, real bad boys. No, he said, the loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. And I feel like that's the opposite of how most of us are moving right now.
Well, in this era of social media, right? That would be considered like if you're not. I think someone said the other day that they hadn't posted, and I think it was my co-founder Keisha. She hadn't posted in 3 weeks, and it was like getting back on social media was difficult, and because she had taken 3 weeks off, And so, did her social capital diminish because she wasn't posting for 3 weeks? And because of who she is, and her mantra is your net worth is connected to your network. So her social capital took no hit. Because we are all there for Keisha, because Keisha keeps us going. She does her little thing, and she does her thing with her on Instagram. I try to get her to bring it over to LinkedIn. But she also raised a good point to your point, is that I think people have to also figure out where they're most comfortable at, and then apply that to how you want to be treated. When I went to, I always have trouble saying your new startup, so say it for us.
Kabila.
When I went to your Kabila and signed in to watch you have the great interview you had with the TechCrunch writer, is also one of those things in that scenario is put yourself in the place of the person you're asking for something from. Do you want to get a random, text that says, "Hey, can you cover my startup?" Or can you
Bro, how crazy was that? So people know. So this is a woman. She covers fintech. Her name is Marianne Azevedo. She covers fintech for TechCrunch, which is arguably the premier tech newsletter.
The Wall Street Journal of tech.
Right, exactly. And she said that people will get her phone number, her cell phone, and just start texting her to get her to cover her personal cell phone.
Yeah, bro. That's why I have a Google number out there. I've had this number since Google Voice started, and I put it out there purposely on social media so that the private, what's the name, doesn't get dinged. But yes, they will do that, and they get mad that person's not giving you help, or they're mad that the person didn't respond. It's like,
yeah, don't be that founder, don't be that entrepreneur, don't be that human who does that. Like, just don't do it.
And I think that there, I just think that some of this is about when you sit down before you tweet, text, send an email, follow, connect to, request a connection. Why am I doing? What's your intention? And if you can nail down what your intention is. Am I doing it the most intelligent way that I know how? Like, if I think about, I use all of my skill set. Am I doing this intention the best possible way? Am I showing up as my authentic self? Is this really me? Or am I feeling a pressure from the situation to either produce, connect? A lot of times you're on these platforms, whether it's LinkedIn or whether it's Clubhouse, and folks are saying, oh my God, that was an inspirational story. I want to connect in that moment. And it's great. 2 days later, when I finally see the message and I reach out, they're like, yeah, no, I was just, and I get it. People do feel a certain kind of way in that moment, but that may not be the time to respond. That may not be the time to, connect.
Right. So I see you just put up Earl. So Earl's my dude. Earl, get back to work, man. What you doing? That's my dude. Oh, actually, so I digress. So the title of these talks should be it's either two dads talking trash or two black dads talking trash.
I agree. While smiling a lot. Because we don't smile. Black dads, we don't smile. So.
Oh my God. So then the other tip I gave was about how to get introductions is how to move on LinkedIn. Now I know you're different. You have a different opinion, and I know because we talked a little bit about this at Clubhouse, and that's fine. But I'm a LinkedIn snob. No, I am. I get introductions all day. Hey, we have all these mutual acquaintances. Let's connect. I'm like, nah.
Why?
No, why? Well, it goes back to what you were just saying. Like, why? Why? And the other thing is, I respect the intentionality of LinkedIn. It's supposed to be a professional networking platform. I feel like a lot of people treat it like Facebook. And for me, if I see, you're connected to somebody, Martin, well, let's use somebody else as an example. I'm going to pick on Earl. Sorry, Earl. I I see Earl's connected to somebody on LinkedIn. I'm just picking on you, Earl, because you're here and saying hi and stuff. And he won't ever come back after this. So I see Earl's connected to Joe Blow on LinkedIn. And I need to connect to Joe Blow for whatever reason. Like, yo, Earl, I see you connected to Joe Blow. Can you introduce me to him? Most likely 8 out of 10 times, Earl, I'm using it as a proxy, but whoever is going to be like, yeah, I actually don't really know that person. I'm like, well,
That right there.
what are we doing here? So like, bro, I mean, I've had that experience so many times. I don't even bother to ask people to introduce me to somebody. I just do it myself.
That should be one of your tips. I don't know if you included it, but I think that would be one of those things that, what was it? You did a cold email to, or a cold message to Mark Cuban.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that. I think a lot of people don't.
But you can't gloss over that, though. Hold on, don't gloss over that. Yes, I sent Mark Cuban a cold email. He responded, and he agreed to let me interview him for my blog. But that was back when I used to blog before I started the foundation. Yes, cold email. And yes, right. I sent a cold email to the CMO of HubSpot, which is how I got the Parents Making Profits podcast on HubSpot for a paid podcast distribution deal via cold email. So yes, I don't wait for people to be like, oh, actually, I don't know him. I'm like, what the? No.
Well, I think the other thing about you that's, a little different, but the but part is we all go through things. And I think the challenge we have is that some things are very traumatic, some things are, stressful, and we want to just put that aside. You lean into the stress. Because here's the thing, I think you and I are similar in that place. Like, what the else are we gonna do? Like, I can't grab my daughter out of the NICU, disconnect all the pipes and all the stuff.
No, you can't do that.
I've got to wait through all this process. And it's like every day it was another, well, maybe in 2 weeks, maybe in 4 days, maybe in 6 hours. So you're on pins and needles throughout this process. And I don't know how else to, like, somebody call you and say, how you doing? I'm shitty. I am fucking shitty. My child is in the NICU. This is happening. That's happening.
Oh, man.
So by being human and really, overstanding or, acknowledging where you're at, and that hasn't changed for me. 6 months ago or 9 months ago, because she's 9 months yesterday, I'm not forgetting what I went through. And I'm bringing that experience with me to everything I do. A lot of times, folks don't remember those or they want to forget them. And it's like, talking to Mark Cuban is nothing. But dealing with my daughter in NICU, that was, asking for help from somebody I don't know isn't that big of a deal when you compare it to something that we all have been through in our personal lives.
That's a really phenomenal point. So Pamela, I don't know a lot of people that I post because there's something that excites me. Cool. This is a little bit of a digression, excuse me, but it's relevant because I see a lot of people. So I don't know if you saw, like, Arlen was getting dragged on social media, Arlen Hamilton. Did you see that?
Wait, is it recently?
Yeah, on Twitter. Because look, you have a lot of emerging VCs who, got a lot of, let's be honest, got a lot of tailwind because of the post George Floyd white people guilt.
Yep.
Right. And same here for the foundation. I got my Black Panther Doesn't Matter t-shirt on. But I'm experiencing it as well. Like, the post George Floyd guilt is over. It's back to business as usual. Nobody's coming to save Black people. We have to save ourselves. We talk about this all the time, Martin. Right. But, those emerging VCs are having a harder time raising capital now.
But it was the same way before George Floyd. It really is not a harder time. It went back to where it was.
Well, yeah, but if you started during the post George Floyd guilt, you were riding a wave, right? Because I know we raised money, and now I've been showing impact and receipts for 2 years now, and really helping people raise money, doing all the things. And those people who helped us before, and I've been showing them receipts, they don't even respond to my emails anymore.
Or they like when you say they like or heart, when you say, yo, the struggle is real, click.
Maybe they like or heart it. They don't even respond.
They don't respond to email.
So yeah, that's the way it used to be, but that ain't how it was when I started this thing up.
Right.
So, but so a lot of entrepreneurs are having a hard time right now. Emerging VCs are having a hard time in some instances raising money. And so people are trash talking them on social media and dunking on them. Right. And it's really effed up to do that. But this ties back into your point about leaning into the drama and the trauma and not allowing it to define you and transcending that. And look, like, you know, my story, you read my book. Like, I've been through a lot. And for me, it's like Nietzsche, the famous philosopher, said, if you gaze into the abyss long enough, eventually the abyss will gaze into you. And in my case, not only did the abyss gaze into me, it jumped on my back for a couple of years. So like, I've been to the bottom. Like, my worst fears were manifested in several instances. And here I am today. You know, this is after starting my startup in 2013. You know, my kids were born prematurely, weighed 2 pounds each, and then they
all that,
right?
The book.
Yeah, well, the book is the more you hustle, the luckier you get. You can be a successful parentpreneur. Some people call it the realest book about entrepreneurship you ever read, but probably never heard of. But you should read it. Yeah, I'm actually going to start writing a new book, by the way, in a couple months. But my point is I've been to the bottom. And because I've been to the bottom and now I'm in a place where I've stared down those demons, I exercise those demons through the grace of God. I'm not taking credit for that, right? And I am standing up taller and stronger than ever before, and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. So the thing is, the problem is when we let our accomplishments become our identity and connect to our self-worth, when we fail, it makes it harder. And then if people are dunking on you, a combination of depression and humiliation, oh man, that's toxic, bro. And that's what's going on right now in these social media streets. So I know this is a bit of a digression. I'm just saying, like, yo, we all have to have a little bit of grace.
And to your point, circling back to this topic, a bit of grace. One of my good members of our club and a devoted auntie for my daughter. I say auntie with a quotation marks. That means somebody's on the internet auntie. She hasn't met her and stuff, but she's contributed to her from the baby shower until last month. Decided to step away from her position at her company, leading the DEI charge. For exactly what you're talking about, for the ability to give her some mental break. And I think that's important. She publicized it and made it public because she wanted others to do the same. I think that's the thing that we have to also, and we're talking about, if you are experiencing what James is talking about, even on a small level, even if it's only on your family, you know, because I'm gonna speak for myself. I come from a toxic, direct family, not my extended family, but I come from a toxic, direct family.
What do you mean by that?
My mother. So I was never good enough because I didn't choose a religion. And James Morton wrote a great book. He had the same situation his mom called "Why Does He Hate You?" And it's even if it's just your small familiar or family or friend circle that is giving you the grief, you need to be able to ask people that you believe in you for help to just unpack the conversation. So it's not, you don't stay in your head. Don't stay in here and don't stay in here. Get it out. Once you get it out, like my grandmother always say, now my grandmother was the opposite than my mother. But she would always say, you know, nothing that stays hidden in the dark does any good. Got to air it out. Got to put it in the light. And then when it's in the light, it's not as bad as you think it is. It could be this, it could be that. But honestly, in the big scheme of things, it ain't as bad as we think it is in our heads.
No, that's true. But when we let it live rent free in our heads, it becomes way worse than it is.
Yes. Yes.
And I loved how you brought that all back to the point of you got to ask for help. So, and asking for help is getting a therapist. Like, get you a therapist.
Which is one of the other things that Parentpreneur Foundation made available to people that I don't think you get enough credit for. I don't think that. Honestly, I think here's the thing. Here's the thing, James.
Oh boy, he about to say something ridiculous.
This is going to be our next topic for July.
Okay.
I just decided right now.
Okay.
But Black folks, honestly, we are way early. The genius of us is that you went through something in 2013 that I didn't go through until 2022 or 2021. So that was like almost 10 years. You were 10 years in. Like, I don't know if I had really read the book about what you went through with your children in the NICU, but I didn't even remembered it in 2021. And so, like, I know that even now there's not a Black Dads group that we can go to talk about. But I know back then definitely was not a Black Dads group to talk about it. And so we're always early with and we don't.
Man, that's all fact. No, I could tell you some other stuff too, but so Pamela's like, oh my God, men talking about therapy. I'm calling the national press. Yes, do it, please, because, and you said we don't get enough credit for what we've done at Parentpreneur Foundation. We don't get enough credit, right? I don't see enough people shouting from the rafters about the work that we do in the Parentpreneur Foundation, the impact we're having. I mean, I see a lot of performative BS getting amplified and lifted up and supported and donated to. Meanwhile, we just quietly built a community of 2,000 Black parentpreneurs. We paid for 320 mental therapy sessions for Black parent. Man, I just need to like put that as all my profile pictures and say nothing else ever again.
Well, and so that's where it comes, full circle about us being so early. I think that a lot of times we don't have that, because what I was going to say was like, you're so early with the mental wellness.
But I'm not though, fam. But
this is the thing. I guarantee you, in 2030, there's going to be this big push to have to, and you'll be able to have the street cred. Like, yeah, I did that in 2020.
But I see. No, you're right. I appreciate you saying that. I see like influential celebrities. I ain't gonna say no names because I don't want to be messy. I see them starting initiatives for health. Starting initiatives for mental health.
I got that email. I thought the same thing. I know what you're talking about.
There's more than one. But I reach out to those folks to try to collab.
Bro.
And I just get ran through the paces with all the BS, and they don't get back and respond. So there are people doing it, and that's great. Like, I'm here for it. I support it. I'm rooting for it, but they don't want to collab. But that's whatever. I don't care. We're gonna keep doing what we do, right? But yes, it's a little early. I agree.
We need to normalize mental health.
We need to normalize it. That's the part. That's it.
As entrepreneurs, and we don't normalize this shit. It's not. We're not gonna. I'm that guy that always tries to be positive. So I would say that just before I say this. Black people are not winning. We're surviving. We're not even thriving in the way that I want us to thrive as a community.
We're always getting the crap end of the stick. Always getting the crap end of the stick.
And if two people, I don't know where this came from, but if one of us, because when I was growing up, 51, when I was growing up, it was like, well, if one of us wins, we all win. No. I don't care which next Black celebrity or techie becomes a billionaire. The rest of us are not winning because one he reached $1 billion. Meanwhile, they're wanting $1 trillion. So Negro, what we need to do is more or less take care of each other and make sure we can be here. We all can be here for each other versus this one wins and we all win crap.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not going to add on to that. We'll be here for another hour. It'll be another hour if I pile onto that. So I'm not going to do it.
Exactly. At least you got two dads rants. That's it. 2 Black Dad rants.
Yeah. Any of that works. I like the two black dads talking trash. I kind of like that. It's just funny to me.
Listen, I mean, or trash talk with two black dads.
Oh no, I mean that just connotes some kind of shade room vibe, which I'm not trying to associate. What is this? Diffrag Black. What is
So Pamela is deep in the STEM world, and defragging was when you defrag your hard drive and you reconfigure it so it's not fragmented.
Oh, gotcha. Oh,
Right?
that's so
your files will act faster. Everything is more smooth.
Pamela Deep, that's so complex, yo. There's so many layers to that. Wow. Just
listen,
the
because
layers of that.
People don't recognize that Windows, not this version, but the original versions, and up until I think XP or maybe what's the name, they all ran on fake memory. I call it fake memory, hard drive space, and so it was like it didn't access your RAM first. It accessed, which is why Mac was always better, because Mac actually ran on hardware. It wasn't running on this fake memory that was on the hard drive. So however fast your hard drive spin and how hard it worked was how well Windows reacted. So if you had a fragmented hard drive, then your Windows was slower. And
Right. All right. Well, this has been another real one.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Pam, thanks for hanging with us. Earl, thanks for checking in, fam. I appreciate it. So the podcast is called Parents Making Profits. Go to parentsmakingprofits.com, and we do this podcast. It's myself and my co-host Mario Armstrong, who's a 2-time Emmy Award winner, Today Show contributor, just a great human. And we do it to help parents who are entrepreneurs help parentpreneurs be the best parent and entrepreneur possible. That's why we do that podcast.
And make a profit.
Get into the bag, right? And it's we're not making excuses for being a parent. We're talking about how can we do both. And it's all right to the point. We don't waste a lot of time. It's all actionable takeaways, and we get into it and we clown each other. It's awesome.
Yeah, y'all so funny, and I appreciate that. I have to give you your flowers now. I have a really good mentee who I care a lot about, who posted yesterday on something on Facebook. I gotta tap into Facebook a little more because I've had
What's Facebook? I don't even know what that is.
I had two situations that unfortunately I learned people are passed on because I hadn't checked their Facebook profile. And I'm sending them messages like an idiot. So I'm trying to tap in to Facebook more. And she posted something yesterday that touched my heart. And I said, we actually scheduled a talk at 3:00 today because I need to turn her on to Parentpreneur. She's killing it in her business and where she's at, but she's actually just had a new baby and has reached out to the community and asked for suggestions about dealing with postpartum. And so while I put her on a pedestal, man, because her company, I don't know anybody who's won more pitch competitions in Black America than her. I don't know. She has killed it during the COVID. She won 4 pitch competitions virtually. She just won a pitch competition last week.
What's the business?
The business is a no-code. There's 2 different levels to it. No coding apps, and then no-code system builder. So that's something she launched last week.
Fascinating.
So yeah, she gets it, and she lives where she works where she lives. Meaning she didn't move to Silicon Valley, Atlanta, New York. She's in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And killing the Kalamazoo.
Oh, that's so good, man. Good for her. Yeah, invited to the community. We have a whole subgroup of mompreneurs, and she can post in there, and they will probably relate to what she's talking about, what she's going through. So. And
it exists because you were intentional about creating a place that's safe for parent entrepreneurs to come in
who are Black.
And I can feel comfortable bringing her to the group,
and
bringing her to the community, and. This community didn't exist in 2018. So I met her in 2018. If she had the baby in 2018, I couldn't have referred her to this. So thank you for
well, we're here. That's all purpose work for me, man. That's it's never going away as long as I have breath in my body. So there's that. Harlem. That's what's up.
He's responding to the question of where people tune in.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes, that's from my OGs.
Yes, I grew up in Brooklyn. So, but yeah, so that's the foundation. I have a new startup I'm launching. It's called Kabila, and so Kabila, we're building a co-founder matching app. Think Bumble for tech co-founders, tech startup founders. So working on an app for that. And then we have this amazing community that we're building that is a place to help tech founders be better founders, better humans. There's going to be a social impact component to it where we will pay for therapy, do micro grants, all these things. And on top of that, I'm going to eventually raise $100 million venture fund to invest in the founders that come through our platforms. But the reason I started Kabila is because I think in the medium term, co-founder teams made up of people from all backgrounds will have a capital raising superpower. It's not going to be the typical pattern match, all white, all male, all
Yes.
Ivy League BS that we continue to see. So that's going to change, and that's because of the rooms that I sit in with the foundation work and people trying to figure out how to get funds to emerging VCs so they can invest in people who look like us. So we're going to be here to elevate, amplify that, lift those people up, empower those people. And I can't talk about it yet, but I have some incredible news coming down the pike here in
2 weeks, 3 weeks,
end of August.
Okay.
About Kabila. And so we're in the process now of getting our financial model together and figuring out what our milestones are so we can go raise capital against that. And we're going to raise a bunch of money. I have a co-founder team of 2 other people I'm super excited about. And we're about to kill it, man. So excited about it.
Well, the reason that we're having this conversation and I tap into you each week is because I'm a parent, you're a parent, and you care enough to make spaces that include parenting and raising kids while you do your business, like the Parent Entrepreneur Foundation that's being supported by people like the NASDAQ Entrepreneurship Center. And then you also create this great podcast. So James, thank you for doing the work that you do, because I couldn't do it, because I don't do it. People see I don't do it. I do the Black LinkedIn on Clubhouse, so that's easy. And
that's a lot. I can't believe y'all do that every Sunday. That's crazy. Y'all better than me. I would never do that.
Well, let's see, this is the thing. That's why we get along. I will never do what you do. You never do what I do.
I never
do
that. Yes, exactly. All right. Hey, Pamela, thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. If I had a co-founder, I would have been done a launch. Interesting. Yeah, finding a co-founder is like finding a spouse. It's not easy to do. So,
yes, amen to that. All right, y'all. James is gonna run. I'm gonna run. Be safe this weekend, please. Like I always say, know where you are. Be aware. Look to your right, to your left. Don't be sleeping. Do not sleep. We are targets. Every time we walk around this planet, unfortunately, we are targets. So be safe.
Yeah, I feel like we need to do a talk about stop majoring in the minors. We actually, we're going to do. Mario and I are going to do an episode about that, and we'll come and we'll talk about the episode. Folks, I feel like awesome. folks majoring in the minors. We got to stop majoring in the minors.
Absolutely, on so many different levels.
Just saying.
Exactly. All right, man.
All right. Later.